Everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Amanda. If you are new here and it's your first time, welcome. Welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Artist, and we are currently here with Taylor and Wade. Taylor has been here for about 3 days story-wise, and Wade feels like it's finally time for them to talk about what's really bothering Taylor. Because he knows about everything that happened between Leandro and Maeva, Wade is not completely in the dark about that, and he spent just as much time with Leandro as he does with Taylor. He is not completely in the dark about what's going on, but he also knows the nature of Taylor and Leandro's relationship, and so he knows there has to be something else that is bothering Taylor for her to be getting so upset and to be staying near him for so long. And so he feels like it's finally time for him to ask Taylor what's really going on. And so they're going to talk about it. As you guys can see, Taylor is very upset right now. She just got off of that awful phone call with Leandro, and right now her emotions are running high. And Wade is going to ask Taylor, he's like, Taylor, what's going on with you? What has you so riled up? And Taylor is like, okay, so you know everything that happened between me and Leandro, and even at the party with Maeva and everything with that. And Wade is like, yeah, is that what's bothering you right now though? And Taylor's going to just come out and tell Wade, because right now Oceana knows that she is pregnant, her mother Elsie knows that she is pregnant, but for right now no one else knows. And Taylor just feels so overwhelmed with decision, with what she really wants to do, especially after that conversation with Leandro. She doesn't know fully what she wants to do yet. Remember that Taylor is not far along in her pregnancy. It has been a very short amount of time. Even though she is pregnant in game, in story purposes, she's only a couple of weeks. And so she's not exactly sure what she wants to do and how she really wants to handle this. And she's feeling extremely overwhelmed right now. And so she's going to tell Wade, because she just wants somebody here that understands what she's going through. She's going to tell him, Wade, I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do about my mess of a relationship. And Wade is kind of like, you're pregnant. And Taylor's like, yes. And Wade is like, how far along are you? Because now he's curious. He's like, how far along are you? And Taylor is going to explain, a couple of weeks at best. And Wade is like, does Leandro know? And Taylor is going to say, no, only Oceana, my mom. And now you know. I haven't told him yet. And Wade is like, hey, you gotta tell him. He has to know what's going on. And Taylor is like, I know I have to tell him. I'm gonna see him in just a couple of days. And Wade is like, do you know what you're gonna do? And Taylor is going to tell him, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know what to do, because this relationship is a mess and I don't feel like I want to be in it anymore. But at the same time, I feel like my mother is pressuring me to have a family unit. I feel like she's pressuring me to get married, because she has this mentality of marriage before children, and on top of that is the pressure of not knowing how Leandro is going to react, and what if he doesn't want a baby? And she's not sure if that's going to affect how she feels about it. She's not even sure completely if she wants a baby fully right now. She's happy about being pregnant, but she's not sure if she wants a baby right now, especially with the wrong person. And so she's just explaining to Wade, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just feel so overwhelmed, and I just feel guilty, because that's the root of how she's feeling right now. Guilty. Because especially everything that her mother has said to her, her own thoughts, she feels like she should have left this relationship a long time ago when it was obvious that they were not in love with each other. And she feels guilty for staying. She feels guilty for investing so much of herself into it right now. And she just doesn't know how to fully deal with that feeling, on top of feeling like she could possibly be bringing another life into this horrible relationship that she has with Leandro, and not knowing if she's going to have the type of support that she desires to have when she has a child. And so Wade is going to tell Taylor, you have nothing to feel guilty about. And he's right. She should not feel guilty. She shouldn't carry the guilt of feeling pressured to have a family. She shouldn't feel guilty about feeling pressured to be married. And she shouldn't feel guilty if she decides to make a different decision in regards to being pregnant. She shouldn't feel guilty if she decides to end this relationship, but Taylor doesn't see it that way. Taylor sees it as she's just so overwhelmed right now, and she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know where to begin when it comes to explaining everything that she's going through right now. And she's just going to explain to Wade, I just feel like I should have gave up on us a long time ago. I just feel like I shouldn't have even stuck around for it to get to this point. She feels stupid. And Wade is going to be like, Taylor, you're not stupid because you wanted a relationship to work. You're not stupid because you thought that things would change. But in the back of Taylor's mind, she's like, I feel stupid because I should have known things were going to change. I should have known that our relationship was not really rooted in love and was just more rooted in comfort than anything. It was rooted in knowing each other for so long and being together for so long, and of course in financial security, and with her traveling so much for work, and it was just comfortable. It was just comfortable. And looking back now, Taylor knows that, and she feels like she should have left it a long time ago. And so Wade is going to tell Taylor, no matter what you decide to do, I'm here for you. You know, Oceana's here for you. You know, your mother's here for you, even if Elsie is a little bit harsh. Wade is going to tell her, you know, your mother is here for you. You know, she's not giving up on you, and she's not going to leave you out in the cold like that. She's not going to not help you. And Taylor feels a little bit reassured hearing that from Wade, not even because of their like emerging romantic relationship, but because she feels comforted by Wade. It feels nice to Taylor to actually have someone else know about what she's going through, right? And so she's going to actually express admiration to Wade because she feels so grateful to have someone that finally knows what's going on with her. And it feels like more weight is taking off of her shoulders. And it feels good to her to finally get out of her head that she is feeling guilty. Wade does notice that she still has on her engagement ring, right? Wade notices like, hey, you still have on your engagement ring. Are you still considering marrying this man? Especially after she just said she feels like she should have left a long time ago. And she's just gonna tell Wade, I don't know how I feel about that, Wade. I don't know. I feel like if I have the baby, wouldn't it be better if we're together? And Wade feels like he can't make that type of decision for Taylor. He's going to tell her, I think you should have a discussion with Leandro first and then decide what you want to do in regards to this relationship, and then decide if this is something that you want to continue to pursue or if you think it can be fixed. And Taylor's going to ask Wade, do you think it can be fixed? And Wade is more blunt, right? And so Wade is just going to tell Taylor, no. I don't think it can be repaired. Taylor kind of knows in her mind already that was what he was going to say, right? She just needs to hear it from someone else. Right now, she is feeling insecure from her jealous trait. It says, if your insignificant other isn't around, how can you know what they're doing and who they're doing it with? Taylor already knows in her mind that this is over, that this cannot be fixed. But hearing it from Wade, that outside perspective, that's completely opposite from what her mother has been saying, has her think a little bit differently. Has her thinking, should I take this ring off? Do I need to just move on with my life and do the best I can? So now she's leaning more towards, if Wade is saying it and it's in my head and I'm feeling insecure all the time, I'm wondering what's going on, who is he with, this, that, you know, all of that is in her head. And she's feeling like, should I just let it go? Should I move on with my life? Should I pursue what's actually best for me? And so Wade is going to give Taylor a hug because he feels like she needs it, because he just wants to remind Taylor that no matter what she chooses to do and no matter how things change for her, whether good or, in his opinion, staying with Leandro, bad, is a bad change. But he just wants Taylor to know that no matter how things change for her, he's going to be there for her no matter what. He wants her to know that they'll always be friends, even if it doesn't become more than friends. But I feel like Wade is willing. You know what I mean? You guys saw a few episodes ago where he was heavily flirting with Taylor, offering her roses and all of those type of things. I feel like Wade would be more than comfortable moving towards something a bit more romantic with Taylor. But then there's also the question of would Taylor even be ready for something like that so quickly after going through something so terrible, such a terrible relationship, a relationship that doesn't have a foundation of love, and a relationship that has involved so much disrespect and mistreatment from her partner. But I do feel like overall Taylor is happy to have the support of Wade. She's happy to have someone else that knows about what she's going through, and she's happy to have someone who's just a friend who's there for her. She's going to tell Wade, don't tell Leandro. She said, I'm going to see him soon. Just keep this between us. Don't tell anyone else. And Wade is going to be like, I promise, I'm not going to say a thing to anyone else. I wouldn't tell Leandro. I wouldn't do that to you, Taylor. And Taylor's just going to tell him, thank you. Okay, so we are currently at Robyn's place with Mava. The other girls aren't here yet, so it is just Robyn and Mava right now. And as you guys saw from the intro, Robyn called Mava upset because Lena has blocked her. Right, and Mava took that as a personal attack. I was going to put Lena in this episode, but I decided to move it to a later episode that I'll do. And Mava's upset because Lena has blocked her, and she called Robyn and said, hey, can I come over? I really want to talk to you. And Robyn said, sure. And so we are here with Robyn, and Mava's upset about it. She's complaining to her about it, and Robyn is like, okay, let me help this girl. And so Mava is kind of complaining to Robyn, like, can you believe that she just blocked me without even like talking to me? And Robyn is like, Mava, maybe she feels like she needed space from you after she found out about everything. And Mava is like, she didn't find out about everything. No, she didn't even ask me about what happened. And Robyn is trying to explain to Mava, like, Mava, you gotta understand, for her, that's her brother. And so he's going to tell her his side of what happened, and that's what she's going to believe. And right now she probably feels like she just needs distance from you, and you have to accept that. But Mava sees everything from only her perspective. She's kind of a selfish person in a way, and so she sees it from her perspective, right? Of like, well, I didn't get to tell my side of the story. I didn't get to tell how I felt about it. And Robyn is telling her, like, that doesn't matter right now. Just give her space. Give her space. And if she wants to speak to you, she'll reach out to you. If she doesn't, then the friendship is gone, and you have to accept that. Robyn is trying to get Mava to see that sometimes the things that you do have consequences that cost you relationships with other people. That's just the way it is. And Mava is like, well, I just think it was wrong. I think that she should have asked me first. And Robyn's going to kind of change the subject because she feels like this is a hopeless conversation with Mava, right? She feels like, what's the point? And so Robyn notices the bracelet on Mava's wrist. Now, this was actually the gift from Leandro before her party. Remember, he came over to her home. He gave her gifts that he left outside of her door early that morning, and one of them was a jewelry box. And the bracelet was in that jewelry box, right? And so Robyn's gonna ask Mava, like, that's a really nice bracelet, expensive. And Mava's like, it was a gift. And Robyn's like, a gift from, and she already knows. And Mava's like, a gift from Leandro. And Robyn is just like, well, it's nice, it's expensive. And May's like, yeah, I like it. You know, Mava's not big on jewelry and the material things, but when they give it, she keeps it, you know, so she's gonna wear it. And so she's like, it's nice, I do like it. It was a nice present. It was for the art show. And Robyn's like, it is a nice bracelet, yeah. And so after seeing the gift, Robyn is going to ask Mava, are you still seeing him? And Mava's gonna be honest, and she's gonna say, yeah, sometimes. And Robyn is gonna kind of just let that linger because she feels like it's not her place to say anything about it right now. And she feels like Maeve needs to make her own decisions, right? And so she's just gonna be like, okay, you know. And she's like, well, it is a really nice present. And Maeve is like, yeah, just sometimes, right? And Maeve's feeling, because Robyn brought up Leandro, Maeve is feeling like she wants to ask Robyn a question that she's been thinking about a lot recently. And she wants to ask Robyn, what were things like between Leandro and Taylor before her? Before she got involved, before she was mixed up in their friend group and all of that type of stuff, right? She wants to know what were things like before. And Robyn is going to tell Maeve, because if you guys remember way back in the beginning, I did mention that Robyn has also had some time with Leandro before, okay? Only one time, but she has had some time with Leandro before. And Taylor does know about that, but it was before Taylor and Leandro were like super serious or anything, right? And so I'm gonna actually have Robyn maybe make some drinks for her and Maeve while they talk. So Robyn's gonna be like, well, what do you want to know specifically? And Maeve's like, just what were they like before I met them, before I knew any of you all? And Robyn's gonna be like, well, their relationship was never like perfect. It was kind of more or less how it is now. And Maeve was like, what do you mean how it is now? And Robyn's like, honestly, it never really felt like they were deeply in love with each other or anything like that. It felt more like they were just attracted to each other. And Maeve was like, so it never felt like it was a love that was meant to be or anything like that. And Robyn's like, not to me. No, not really. Robyn's gonna tell Maeve, I met Taylor through him, and she's like, I don't know, me and Taylor basically connected because, well, she liked to party and I like to party too. And we connected on that level. It wasn't really like an in-depth level, but we did connect through our love of just having fun. And she's like, I know that Taylor's mom liked Leandro because she felt like he could give her stability as far as finances and all of that are concerned. And Maeve was going to be like, but it never felt like love. And Robyn's like, yeah, it never really felt like they were two people that were meant to be together. And I don't know if Maeve was asking that to feel less guilty about her relationship with Leandro, or I don't know if she's asking just to get more insight on it. I feel like it's a mixture of both for Maeve. Like, she's curious to know, but she also is just gaining insight about it as well, and in a way trying to figure out more about Leandro through Robyn, and trying to figure out how he feels about her in relation to his relationship with Taylor. And Robyn is just going to tell Maeve, he's going to be like, look, it's not that there weren't random flings before you or anything, but it's that she never really cared that much about those random flings because it was never more than that. And Robyn's going to tell Maeve, honestly, I think you became such a big deal because it's more than that. And then Robyn's going to ask Maeve to kind of try to change the subject a little bit because she doesn't really want to talk too much about like Leandro and Taylor and all of that, especially after losing her own friendship with Taylor. It just makes her a little bit sad and a little bit uncomfortable. And the rest of the girls are here now as well. Milana is here, Amani is over here, and Steph is here sitting next to Amani, and Amber is also outside, right? And then Natalie is coming in. And so Robyn's like, it's time for me to, change the subject. I don't really want to discuss Taylor too much. I don't want to really talk about all of that. And so she's just going to kind of ask Maeve, as she's like washing dishes, she's like, so what do you have going on the rest of the day? And Maeve's going to be like, I'm going to meet up with Reese a little bit later on. He asked me out, and she's like, then tomorrow I got to go see Liana, right? And Robyn, while she's over here smoking in front of the sink, Robyn is going to tell Mava like, oh, go see Liana. And May's like, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. It's just, you know, I have more art that I want to show her and I need to make money. You know what I mean? You see, Milana came over here right to Mava. Mava and Milana have actually become really, really close friends, which is why I added her into her friend group, because they actually get along amazing, which is also part of the reason why Natalie feels like Milana is around way, way too much, you know, way too much. And so Steph is going to actually tell Natalie, like, hey, I'm just gonna go talk to Milana really quickly, because Milana has invited Stephanie to do a performance with her, because you guys know that Steph sings and Milana spends a lot of time playing guitar and piano a little bit. She's not as good at piano as Stephanie is, but she does play a little bit, and she was offered a performance gig. Milana invited Stephanie to come along and perform in that with her, and Stephanie is going to tell Natalie, like, I'm just gonna go talk to Milana really quickly about the performance. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And Stephanie is going to go ahead and give Milana a hug and be like, hey, how are you? And Milana's gonna be like, I'm good, I'm good. Are you excited about the gig? And Stephanie's like, yeah, I'm excited. It's just, you know, Natalie's feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And Milana's gonna be like, uncomfortable about what? And Milana knows what Natalie is feeling uncomfortable about, first of all. But she's like, uncomfortable about what? And Steph is like, she just feels like maybe we're spending too much time with each other. And Milana's like, well, we're working on music. Like, of course we're spending time together. But Steph tells Milana that it's just that she feels like it's a little bit too much. And Milana is like, well, do you feel like it's too much? How do you feel? Like, outside of Natalie, how do you feel? And Steph is like, I like spending time with you. I enjoy our friendship. Because one thing Stephanie is not is a cheater. Stephanie is not a cheater. She is very loyal. You know, she would never, basically, she's not, her and Mava are not the same type of person, okay? I'm just gonna put it that way. They're not the same type of person. And so Stephanie just feels like, I like spending time with you. I enjoy our friendship. Stephanie knows that Milana is attracted to her, but she hasn't like made a move on that at all. You know what I mean? Mava is nosy. I feel like Mava came in here to probably tell them, like, I'm running late. I'm supposed to be meeting Reese and I gotta go. I gotta go. You know, and so Steph is gonna go ahead and give her a hug, because Mava does have to go. She's gonna go ahead and give Mava a hug goodbye, because she's also happy to hear that Mava is meeting up with Reese, because in Steph's mind, she's like, finally, something decent. You know what I mean? That's how Stephanie is feeling, like, finally something decent. And so she's gonna tell Mava, you guys have a good time, and May's like, yeah, I think it should be fun. While Stephanie's hoping like that Reese just makes such a great impression on Mava that she realizes like, hey, maybe I can have something that's not as messy, something that's not as drama filled, maybe something more easygoing, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what Stephanie is hoping for Mava as her friend, with her best interests at heart. But Mava does have to go. She is running late and she still has to get ready. Okay, so Mava went home, she showered quickly, she changed her clothes, and she told Reese, I'm sorry I'm running late, I'm on my way. Reese is a very sweet person. He's so understanding, and he was like, it's okay, I'll just get us a booth, right? And so Mava's finally here. She was a little bit late, but she's finally here. She told him I was with my girls and things just kind of went over, right? And Reese is like incredibly understanding of that, and he's like, he's just happy to see her. He's happy that he gets to spend some time with her. He's excited to get to know Mava a little bit better. Even though you all saw in the beginning, Mava unfortunately said that she completely forgot about this, which I think if Reese knew that, that would be a little bit hurtful, right? But he is interested in her. He's interested in getting to know her better. And I'm going to give him that opportunity, even though I feel like Reese is such a good guy. And right now, Mava's not the best version of herself that she could be, but we'll have to see how it goes. Okay, we'll just have to see how it goes. So they're here. They did order coffee and food and all of that type of stuff, but Mava's not feeling super hungry. And so they're just gonna sit here and chat and get to know each other, a little bit better and hopefully have a good date, have a good first date. Right now, Reese is just telling Mava because he did purchase one of her pieces at her show, if you guys remember, and he still has it in his inventory. And he's telling her like, I love the work that you did for your art show. It's beautiful. And May was like, she's like, thank you. I'm happy you like it. I worked really hard on it. And Reese is like, I can tell it's absolutely gorgeous. And he's going to ask Mava about any like future art shows. He's really interested in her and in her ideas and who she is and all of that type of stuff, right? And so he's going to ask her like any plans for future art shows. Mava's like, yeah, actually, tomorrow I'm going to, I'm going to see a friend about potentially setting up another show because I do have more work to sell. And Reese is like, oh, that's cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that. It's like, because if it's anything like your first one, I know it's going to be amazing. And Mava's going to ask Reese, she's just going to ask him like, so what have you been up to today? Just like first date type of stuff, right? Mava's actually feeling a little bit uncomfortable right now. She does still have her socially awkward trait. I have not removed that because it's part of her, right? And so she's actually feeling just a little bit uncomfortable because yes, she knows Reese and she knows him fairly well now after all this time, but they've never been on a date before. And so she's feeling a little bit awkward, a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like she doesn't really know what to talk about. And ignore the fact that Carlo's mom is here. I'm probably just going to make her leave, to be honest. She's feeling a little bit uncomfortable and like she doesn't know what to talk about. She feels like with Leandro, she just knows what to say. They've spent so much time together and they know so much about each other. She feels like she just knows what to say with him. And with Reese, it's something new. And she feels like she doesn't know how to really express herself and express her thoughts. And she doesn't feel comfortable yet with him on that level. But she's willing to give it a shot. She is. May's gonna ask him like, well, you know what I do? Tell me more about what you do. And Reese is just gonna tell her like, well, I work in like repair and maintenance and all of that type of stuff. And May's like, yeah, are you still doing that? And Reese is like, yeah, I'm still doing it, but I'm also thinking about going back to school for programming because Reese is interested in programming. And May's like, that'll actually be a good thing. That'll be a good next step for you. And it's not that Reese is unsure about what he wants to do. It's not that he's unsure about what he wants out of life or anything like that, really. It's just that he realizes that he's passionate about something else. You know what I mean? Like, sure, his job he has now pays well. It pays decent money. He's not struggling. If anything, he makes most of the money in the house that him and Milana currently share. Right? Like, yes, they're roommates, but most of the income comes through Reese and not through Milana, which is a big part of the reason why they live together as well right now. He's like, I'm thinking about actually going back to school for programming. And May's like, that'd actually be like a great next step for you. And she's like, so, like, you have any hobbies? All that first date type of stuff, right? And he's telling her like, I love gaming. I love working out. That type of stuff. And May loves gaming, right? We don't see her game a whole lot because it's not a hobby that her and Leandro shares, not a hobby that she shares with a lot of her other friends, but it is something that she does love to do, right? And so she's just like saying to him like, oh, I love gaming. What type of games do you play? And Reese is like, oh, I play a lot of first person shooters, Call of Duty, Apex Legends. And he mentions like Overwatch, right? And Mabel loves Overwatch. And so she's like, oh, no way. I love Overwatch. And Reese is like, really? You play? And Mabel's like, yeah, I play a lot. I spend a lot of time playing. And Mace is like, we should queue up sometime together. And Mabel's gonna be like, yeah, like that's actually something that she's excited to hear, that they have something in common, right? Now, Mabel's not gonna mention to Reese the stuff that happened when Orion messaged her, right? Linnea's boyfriend, Orion. She knows that Reese and Orion are friends, and Mace as well. The three of them are friends with each other. And she knows that. But Mabel's like, I'm not going to bring that up to him. Not even because she doesn't want to start a problem between Reese and Orion, but because she feels like she has no use for it right now. And I know that sounds horrible, but that's how Mabel sees it. She feels like she has no use for that information right now. She sees it more as if things don't go the way that they need to go with Linnea, because she has a feeling that things with Linnea may not be what she expects them to be, then she has that thing with Orion in her back pocket. Him hitting on her, asking her out, all of that type of stuff. Maeve sees that as something that she can use, okay? And I know that sounds horrible, but that is how she sees it. And so it's not that she's not going to mention it to Rhys out of some respect for their friendship or anything like that. It's that she feels like that's something that she can keep to herself and close to the chest until she wants to use it for better or worse, basically. I know it's not great, but that's how Maeve sees it. And Rhys is gonna ask Maeve, he's gonna be like, you didn't touch your food, and she's like, yeah, I'm not really hungry. I did eat earlier, right? Maeve actually didn't eat that much today. She's just mostly been upset today. And she's like, oh yeah, I wasn't that hungry. And Rhys is gonna be like, they have an arcade here. You wanna go upstairs and maybe hang out up there? And maybe it's going to be like, yeah, sure. That's something different than what she usually does with Leandro. That's something different than what she used to do with Carlo. And she's like, yeah, sure, we can head upstairs. Why not? You know, and hang out and have fun. And so they're going to come upstairs and play ping pong together. It's just something different than what she usually does when she's out on dates, right? Usually her dates are about, you know, fancy dinners and expensive gifts and all of this type of stuff, which is nice. Maeve does appreciate all of that type of stuff. But Rhys is just a different type of guy, right? He's a lot more fun. I think from Maeve's perspective, he's a lot more fun. Not that she doesn't have a lot of fun with Leandro, but Rhys is just a different type of fun. You know what I mean? And so this is like something different for her to have this type of date night that, yes, doesn't involve a lot of that other stuff, but it's just something different. And plus, this is like their first time actually hanging out together with a like no serious pressure type of date, right? From their perspective, it's more like a, yes, a friendly hangout, but also kind of a first date type of thing, right? And so less pressure, more I want to get to know you and get to know more about you type of thing. In Maeve's mind, she's actually enjoying it. She's having fun, and I think Rhys is definitely having fun. He's been trying to get Maeve's attention for a while now. At first, he was a little bit scared. He was a little bit nervous, but he got over that, and he just asked her like, hey, can I see you? And once he got over that, look what happened, you know? It says another game of ping pong is done. Maeve actually won. She won 3-2. And Rhys is actually going to give Maeve a hug. He's going to hug her and he's going to be like, you may have won that one, but next time I'm definitely going to beat you. And Maeve's going to be like, I'd love to see you try to do that. You know, because Maeve's a little bit competitive herself. Like, don't get it twisted. She's a little bit competitive herself. And she's like, I'd love to see you try. And I'm going to also have them, they can play an arcade game together. And he's like, I'm definitely going to win this one. You may have won ping pong, but I'm definitely going to win this one. And Maeve was like, well, show me what you got then. Like, you say you're going to beat me, then do it. Come on with it, right? And Rhys is like, I'm trying to focus. You're distracting me. And they was like, I am not distracting you. Like, you're full of crap, you know? Rhys is probably like, oh, I'm full of crap. Then how come you missed that one? And Maeve was like, it was a lucky shot. I didn't mean to miss it. You're distracting me. You know, like that type of thing. And I just think, I feel like their dynamic is definitely very, very chill right now. Very, very much so still friend. You know what I mean? Even though in Rhys's mind, this is like their first date, I feel like Maeve is seeing it like, I'm hanging out with my good friend. Unfortunately, I feel like she's seeing it like that. Like she's hanging out with her good friend right now, and it's hard for her to really see it as anything else right now. I don't know who this random guy is. We're just gonna let him play because why not? So he's just gonna ask her like, you ready to get going? And she's like, yeah, I'm ready to head home. I'm tired. I've had a long day. So they are back at Maeve's place now. It is very late, and Rhys brought Maeve back home. He made sure she got in okay and everything, and he's saying goodbye to her right now. He's going to tell her that he had a really great time with her, because he did. Reese is excited that they got to spend time together finally, and he's holding her hands. Like Reese is like really going for it, right? He really wants to make a good impression on Mava. And so he's just gonna tell her, I had a great time with you tonight. We should do it again. And Mava's gonna be like, I enjoyed it as well, and we should. Like, we should definitely get together again. I don't know when I'll be able to. Like, she's gonna be honest that she doesn't know when she'll be able to, because her days are a little bit kind of all over the place right now. And so she's gonna be honest. She's like, I don't know when we'll be able to, but I had fun. I enjoyed it. And Reese is gonna be like, well, just let me know. Let me know when you're available, and I definitely want to see you again. And Mabel's gonna be like, of course. And I feel like Reese is just gonna go for it because he had fun and he wants to make a good impression on Mava as a romantic interest and not just as a friend. He's gonna give her a kiss goodnight. He's gonna go for a kiss with her to kind of leave that kind of lasting impression on her. You know what I mean? And she took it. She accepted it. And so I feel like Mabel's like, oh, wow, okay. I don't think she hated it. She's gonna just tell him I should get to bed. I have an early morning because she is going to see Liana tomorrow. She's gonna tell him I have to get to bed. I have an early morning. But I had a really great time with you, Reese. And he's gonna be like, me too. Have a good night. And she's gonna tell him, you have a good night too. And Reese is gonna go ahead and head home because Mava does have an early morning. She does have to get up early tomorrow. And she does actually want to go to bed. Okay, so Reese is gone and Mava's exhausted. She had a long day, a kind of emotionally charged day, and she's gonna get ready for bed so that she can get up in the morning, see Liana, and all that that brings, right? So she's going to come into her room and she's going to change into some pajamas. It's gonna have her put this on, something a little bit more covered up so that I don't get flagged again. I'm just gonna have her put on something a little bit more covered up, and then I'll have her come into the bathroom and brush her teeth so that she can get ready for bed because she had a nice evening out with Reese. She's feeling very happy. She's feeling like she had a good time, and she did have fun getting to know a little bit more about him, even though she's also thinking like she stumbled a little bit over her words a little bit and all that type of stuff by feeling a little bit awkward, I guess is the best way I could put it. She feels like maybe doesn't feel like she's great at conversation with new people and with new experiences and all of that type of stuff. And so she feels like there's some things that she could have asked him and she didn't, and all of that type of stuff is going through her mind kind of as an insecurity about herself, right? She's like, did he really have a good time? And it was awkward and I made it awkward and just all of those type of things, right? And she's also thinking about, could she potentially see Reese as more than a friend? She doesn't know if that's something that she really envisions. And at the same time, she's still so enmeshed in her relationship with Leandro at the same time, and just everything else that's going on in her life, right? We do have one more scene after this, so don't leave. We have one more machinima scene, but this is where I will leave you all. That is where I am going to wrap up today's video. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.
feeling.